We live?
We may or may not be live.
Sure.
Are we live on Instagram?
No. We just went live on Twitch.
It's good.
How do you turn the screen?
Says Instagram, we got a yes, we are live.
All right, we're live on YouTube as well.
YouTube, Twitch.
Yeah, we're live. All right. Good morning. Just fix your camera, please.
Dude, I'm trying. It's not locking.
Is your auto rotate on? Or auto rotate lock?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we're live on Instagram.
Let me check. We are not.
All right, let me try to fix that. It's at Instagram.
Sorry for the technical difficulty, ladies and gents.
Bit of a rough morning.
Been a rough morning. All right, but Russ, fix your camera.
Dude, I can't. That's what I'm trying to tell you.
Turn your auto rotate off.
I did.
Oh.
No.
Yeah, it's because.
Please tell me it's good on
keep it
Spot
like that.
Sports Network. Instagram, please. We're good.
I mean,
Go
I'll
on.
have to go back out and back in, Hunter, if you want me to change it.
Okay, we're live on it. It's fine. Just keep it.
Yeah.
Just keep it. All right. Good morning. Sorry, it's been a morning. It's been a week. GRS's laptop is gone, essentially, so we have not been able to record anything. But we're here. We're live. Shout out to James for getting this all put on together. We're not going to have the graphics this week, which means we're going to have to go off the top of the head here. But let's go into our FCS matchup of the week, which is I already forgot. Jesus. All right.
Montana State and Idaho.
Montana State and Idaho. There we go. Hold on. Bear with me 1 second here. Now I can get this pulled up. All right. So Montana State versus Idaho. That is our first matchup. James, you can go first.
Please, no. Hold up. I'm working on some of the banners.
All right. GRS.
I think Montana State is like a double-digit favorite. I think it's like 10.5, and they're at home, so I'll go with Montana State.
I'm also going to go Montana State.
I really liked how Idaho played earlier this year against Oregon, but being double-digit point favorites, it's kind of hard to go against Montana State.
Yep, gonna go ahead with Montana State. Our next matchup. Are you typing them all in, James?
Yeah, how does one spell Hawaii? That's how you spell it.
Yep. There you go. We're gonna go Boise State versus Hawaii. Hold on. There we go. Look at that. Boise State versus Hawaii. G-Russ.
I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna upset James a little bit here. I know he loves Genty, but I'm gonna go with Hawaii. I think maybe a little bit of jet lag could hit Boise State, and I also think that I don't know. I feel like Hawaii. I feel like one game a year this could happen with the jet lag. Boise State's feeling really good. Genty's Heisman hopes are pretty high right now. And I'm hoping that y'all pick Boise State so I can get a game up. That's also why. So I'm gonna go with Hawaii.
I'm going to go Boise State. I think Ashton Genty is the best running back in the country. I don't think that Hawaii is going to be able to stop him, even though there may be some jet lag. I'm still going to go Boise State.
Hawaii has the better mascot. I think they have one of the most unique in college football, the Rainbow Warriors. Shout out to them. I've played with them a little in a dynasty on NCAA, and I can tell you right now they're not good. Their quarterback is from Highland Park, which I know a couple of guys that go to that high school. That's about all. They're 2-3 right now with a win over Northern Illinois and DSU, and it's not Delta State. I think it's Delaware State. They haven't played anyone. They did barely lose to UCLA, but Ashton Jeanty will finish the season as the greatest college running back. This will be the greatest college running back season of all time. He might rush for 3,000 yards, and this game he very well might rush for 500. Wise defense is terrible. Give me Boise State.
Michael Myers staying in the backfield. Ashton Gentry will win the Heisman and will win this game for him. Yes, James.
Gentry.
What?
What's his last name again?
I can't say last names, okay? It's apparent, okay? I can't do that anymore. Boise State. Next matchup.
Which is we're gonna go Cal v. Pitt.
All right, Cal versus Pitt. Cal, exciting team. Pitt ranked with Eli Holston at quarterback. G-Russ.
I'll go with Pitt. Assume it's at Pitt, right? Making sure.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yeah, I'll go with them. It's a hard place to play. It's going to be a low-scoring game. Pitt wants to play that way, and because of that, I'll go Pitt.
I'm also going to go Pitt. They have looked really good this year, and I think with them being at home, along with how good their offense has been, I'm going to go Pitt.
I mean, Cal showed a lot of tenacity last week against Miami at home. But I think the jet lag, kind of like G-Russ said, I mean, they're traveling across the country, which is a disgrace to college football, in my opinion, that we have conferences. An ACC with a team on the Pacific Coast is disgraceful. So definitely a lot of bright spots for Cal after last week, but I think they're going to be a bit tired, and I like Pitt. So give me Pitt.
I'm also going to go with Pitt. I think Eli Holston, one of the best transfers from last year's portal, ended up at Pitt. He was at Alabama, and he's playing. He's playing ball. He's a ball player. So, going to go Pitt here. Jeez, Louise, right into the microphone. I got HD cough sound effects right there.
I don't have my headset on.
I'm just
yeah.
Arizona, BYU.
I'll go with BYU here. They've played. They've looked really good so far. Arizona has looked solid too, but I do think that once again, home field advantage is going to be too much for Arizona. BYU has looked good, but this is the Big 12, so anything can happen. I feel like, but I will go BYU.
Arizona has looked pretty good. However, kind of like Grant said, playing at BYU is tough, especially with the elevation. I don't think that Arizona is going to be able to handle the crowd at BYU, and BYU is a very good football team. So I'm going to go BYU.
I mean, Arizona showed some promise, but they've also, with a win against the top 10 Utah, granted Cam Rising was out that game, so I can't really take that game that seriously. But when they played at Kansas State, they got killed 31-7. I think they have one of the best QB wide receiver duos in Noah Fafita and Tetoroya McMillan. But with their head coach leaving to Washington, I think they lost some of that chemistry. And I also think BYU has a sneaky good student section. I know the Mormons get a lot of hate, but I've seen some of the highlights of their games and their mascot. He just gets some electric. So that home field advantage is definitely going to help BYU. They're number 14 in the country for a reason. I think maybe with a few upsets this week, they could jump into the top 10. But I'll take the Mormons at home.
I'm going to go Arizona here. I think that they haven't really shown up this year, but I feel like big stage for them, big ranked opponent. Why not? We saw it last week with all the upsets. I would also like to issue a formal apology to the University of Vanderbilt. Sorry about that. But Arizona gets the win. Big win. I think that it's a close game, comes down to a field goal. BYU misses a game-winning field goal.
It's a little ironic because our next game is Vanderbilt versus Kentucky.
Yeah,
Season-
I know. I don't know why I issued the apology a little early. Vanderbilt, here's the actual official apology. That was like the preamble of the Constitution. This is the meat of the Constitution. Dear Vanderbilt, I'm sorry for calling you powdered milk. You all showed up and played ball, so congratulations. You beat Alabama. I would be happy for you, but Tennessee also lost that night, so I'm still not very happy. I also did not look at any college football for the past week. I have just been a Yankees fan. So, Russ, on that note.
I've actually thought about this game last week. I still have no idea who I'm picking, but I think okay, so there's 3 teams I hate in this world, in the SEC at least. It's Florida, who we play today.
I hate 'em all.
It's Bama. Okay. It's Bama, but most of all, I hate Kentucky. I don't know why I've always been that way, but because of that, and this is the one time where I can pick Vanderbilt, and it may actually make sense, so I'll go with Vanderbilt. They'll never pick him again and be taken seriously.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Diego Pavia legacy game part 2. I think Pavia is a pretty good quarterback, and I don't think Kentucky has the ability to stop their type of offense. And so I'm gonna go Vandy.
I really want to go with Kentucky just because y'all are all going with Vanderbilt. But when they played a similar style run offense against South Carolina, Sellers is a running quarterback just like Diego Pavia. I think that run game is going to slow down Kentucky's defense, tire them out. And so while, yeah, Kentucky's a 12.5-point favorite, which is crazy, they've also blown it at home to South Carolina. And so just going off of that game and the way that Vanderbilt has like all this momentum that's going to be rolling into Kroger Field, I think they'll continue that momentum. Diego Pavia is at an all-time high. I think he'll keep it up. Anchor down. Let's go Vanderbilt. Get another win. I think Pavia's taking the right approach. He's talking to all of his teammates. He's like, hey, that one game doesn't matter. We got to keep it rolling. We want to contend for a national championship. He said national championship. They have to win out. So I like that mentality from Diego Pavia. Give me Diego Pavia.
Yeah, the national champions that lost to Georgia State. So Vandy lost to Georgia State. So
They beat Alabama.
I'm still hating on Vandy. But I am going to ride with the hot hand. I think Diego Pavia is one of the better quarterbacks in the country. He's underrated. Their offense, very simple, I feel like. When you break it down, really, it's a lot of boot plays that the quarterback can make a run on or can throw off of, and that's what they did against Alabama. They threw behind it, and then when Alabama covered, I mean, it was pretty cut and dry, but Vandy exposed Alabama last week. So I'm going to go with Vandy. I don't think that Kentucky is as good as people think they are. While they are getting better, they did beat Ole Miss. I don't think Ole Miss is as good as they are, but they did beat Ole Miss. But Kentucky is improving, but Vandy gets the win. South Carolina versus Alabama. Alabama coming off the most historic upset in their program's history. South Carolina has nothing to lose. Cheers.
I think Bama easily blows them out. I'm not a believer in Beamer ball. Alabama just lost to Vanderbilt, so they're going to come in mad. They're going to come in hot and potentially beat South Carolina by like 60. And because of that, I'll go with Alabama and just a disaster for South Carolina.
That's pretty much what I was going to say. I think Bama could win this game by 105. I think it's going to be pretty ugly, especially with it being at Alabama with a bunch of angry fans. So give me Bama.
I mean, if DeBoer loses this one, he's losing his job. You don't lose back-to-back at Alabama, especially after losing to Vandy for the first time since like the 1980s. I mean, DeBoer's probably already on the hot seat. I saw someone on the Feinbaum show compare it to like your wife cheats on you. You like catch her cheating with a neighbor. Like you might forgive her, but you'll never trust her again. Alabama fans might forgive Kalen DeBoer if he wins a national championship, but they will never trust him like they trusted Saban. So, yeah, if he loses this one, he loses his job. Alabama by 105, like Chube said. Uh, Pretty easy answer. South Carolina, they got a taste of what a running quarterback can do. Sellers might die. So, good luck to the Gamecocks.
James, that was the best analogy I've ever heard.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go with the Crimson Tide. I feel like after last week, you don't have anything to lose, really, because actually, hold on, you have everything to
Whoa.
lose this week. Sorry, it's early morning. It's very cold in the camper I'm in right now. It is actually freezing. But I am gonna go with the Crimson Tide. I think that DeBoer had. They're calling for DeBoer's head. The message boards last week were quite interesting, saying that they were going to possibly kill him and his entire family. Just goes to show you what's going on down there in Tuscaloosa. They also made him change his entire wardrobe. He's now wearing collared button shirts instead of coach's attire, like Saban. So I think that the Tide get back on track here. They're number 7 in the country. I think that they need to win this game if they want to go back to the national championship and college football playoff. So,
All right. I messed with Alabama fans. Oh, do I not have this game on? Hold up.
you mess with Alabama fans wanting to kill his family?
I messed with them changing their wardrobe.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, little Big Ten ball.
Yep, Big Ten ball on the West Coast. Penn State at USC. Penn State number 4 in the country. USC out of the rankings after their loss last week. You're us.
I don't think Penn State's number 4 team in the country, but I don't think they're like. I still think they're a top 15 team. 4 though, just for all the losses last week and the crazy week. I guess that's why they're upside. I'm gonna go with USC. I'm excited to see if Drew Allar can compete with a high scoring team, especially with Miller Moss. You know, it'll be interesting because he got a lot of hate last year for not playing great, and USC team wants to score 50 every week. I think that it'll be hard for Drew Allar in his first shootout. So I'll go with Miller Moss.
This is pretty tough. I like USC's offense. I just don't know if their defense is going to be able to stop Penn State. I'm actually going to go USC in this game. I think they get a big win playing at home, and I don't think Penn State's offense is going to be able to keep up.
Yeah, I'll just go ahead and disagree with both of y'all. I think the Coliseum's overrated. It's kind of a dump, not going to lie. USC actually is scoring less than Penn State this year. They haven't put up 50 yet. Their closest was 48-0 against Utah State, and then 38, and then they were only scoring in the 20s. We've seen what a Big Ten team can do to USC from Michigan and Penn State, and Minnesota. They have bigger linemen. They'll kill you in the trenches. I think Drew Allar has been pretty consistent this year. I mean, he's only had one close game against Bowling Green. We've seen jet lag doesn't affect him because he won 27-11 at UCLA. I mean, he's a pretty consistent guy. I think they can go into, USC, get another big win. I mean, it definitely doesn't hurt their resume. And I kind of like what you said, Grant. I don't think they're the number 4 team in the country, but just kind of how the dominoes have fallen. They're undefeated. It just kind of happens to be that they're the number 4 team in the country, But they've been pretty dominant all season. Only one really close game against Bowling Green. But, I mean, even playing in Morgantown at West Virginia week 1, they killed them 34-12. This Penn State team is good this year. They're a tournament team. So give me the Nitty Lions. Screw the Coliseum. They messed up their hype video for this year too. It was cool, but they messed it up historically. So they need to go back to class and quit worrying about football.
I'm going to disagree with James. I'm going with the Trojans this week. I like Miller Moss, and I'm going to keep saying it. I'll scream it from the rooftops. Fight on.
You hate everybody.
Fight on.
I thought you hated everybody.
What?
I thought you hated everybody.
I hate everybody, but I love everybody as well.
There.
I think that the Trojans get a big win here. I think that this game will be close. It's also an early game, 12 o'clock. A lot of people don't realize that. It's a 12 o'clock game today. So it's not the big noon kickoff. It's the other early Big Ten game.
It's 2:30 their time.
All right, I was wrong. It's still going to be somewhat early for Penn State. I'm going to go with the Trojans.
All right, next game. What's on our agenda? Florida, Tennessee, which I also didn't make a banner for. Florida at Tennessee. I know this one is going to have some hot takes. All right, let's hear them, Grant.
I mean, I think Tennessee's going to win. Last week was, it's Tennessee. We do it once a year, and I think that was the one game the year of this year. I think we win by 2 touchdowns. I think it's going to be like the spread, but it could be close. It's Florida, Tennessee. Florida always plays better than they're supposed to. Tennessee always plays worse. But I think last week's going to wake up to play calling because I'll go Tennessee.
Yeah, I think Heupel kind of he played last week way too conservative. And so I think this week he really opens up the offense, kind of lets loose with Nico and lets Nico actually throw the ball. Kind of like the Bama situation. This game's either going to be really close because, like Grant said, Tennessee plays bad, Florida plays good. It doesn't matter how good the two teams are. It's usually a close game. And, either it's close or Tennessee hangs 100 on them, and it's going to be a blowout. So I'm going to go Tennessee, and hopefully Heupel lets Nico go.
I don't care what type of rivalry y'all have been saying this is, that it's close every year, a bunch of nonsense. Just remember who Florida's coach is. It's Billy Napier, Sun Belt legend. He doesn't belong in my SEC. He needs to see himself out. If Heupel doesn't score 100 on him, I think the Tennessee message boards will be after him. I mean, if you only win by a field goal, how can y'all be happy with that? I think y'all need to put up 21. Y'all need to put up. Y'all want to go to the tournament or whatever. Y'all need to put up 21. Nico and Dylan Sampson, pretty elite run game. I mean, when your quarterback is basically reincarnated Lamar Jackson, just younger. Trust me, he's going to be that mobile one day. Trust me. But he also kind of has a cannon for an arm. It's like if Joe Milton and Lamar Jackson had a baby. And that's Nico. I think this one isn't going to be close at all. Sun Belt Billy is going to see himself out the door. The fans want him out. I want him out. He doesn't belong in my SEC. Make the SEC pure again. Get Sun Belt Billy out of here. Get him out of here. Tennessee by 100.
Didn't they beat Mississippi State?
Yes, get Sun Belt Billy out of here.
This is why.
I'm tired of him.
Looking like Mississippi State doesn't belong.
Get Sun Belt Billy out of here. We're rebuilding. We're rebuilding. Get Sun Belt Billy out of here.
I think that if Tennessee wins this game, which they will, and if they win it by a field goal, the fans are not going to be mad because, James, I don't think you understand. We hate Florida with everything in our bones. We don't care. We don't care if we win by half a point. We want to win. All right. It's a checkerboard game. It's at night. Checkerboard game at night. Doesn't happen often, but I think it's going to be awesome. Me and G-Russ are going. And Chube's going to be there, actually. So, look at that. Oh, wow. Jordan
Get rid of Sun Belt Billy.
Where did that come from?
Get rid of Sun Belt Billy.
Jordan Bone jersey activated. I'm going to go with the Vols. I think they get a big win here. I think that you have to let Nico throw it, and I think that you actually throw the ball. And on 3rd and 7, do not run a halfback dive for the love of God, or I will run down to the field. I do not care. So go Vols.
Give me Liberty or give me Vols by 100.
There you go.
Fire Sun Belt Billy.
I like them. We get wins off of them.
All right, next game. This one.
Is it Ole Miss? Yes, Ole Miss LSU at Death Valley. Is this the night game or is this the 3:30
game? Night game.
Night game. Juris.
I'm gonna pick Ole Miss. I think that after I know it was a day game with Tennessee playing a couple of years ago, but that place was dead. I think because people were saying it was supposed to be a big game for LSU, they didn't get up for that. I think that Ole Miss has been woken up too. I'm a big believer in Jackson Dart. I still think that they have a chance to make the playoff, even though a lot of people don't. And LSU has played in a few close games this year where I feel like they shouldn't have, or as they haven't just scored as many points as they used to. Garrett Nussmeier first week looked great. After that, he's looked solid, not anything crazy. And I believe Lane Kiffin will wake up this team. So I'll go with Ole Miss.
Give me the Tigers. LSU at home, you don't just walk into that place and play good. Like it's a very tough place to play in Death Valley, and it helps that LSU is a very good football team. They've looked pretty good, and I don't know that Ole Miss is going to be able to just walk in there and get their business done. I think LSU gives them a lot of trouble, and I think they give them too much trouble. So I'm going to go LSU.
I think an Ole Miss student is going to die tonight. Those fans have been drinking.
You can't say that. You can't say that.
The Ole Miss students are loud and obnoxious. They are down there in Baton Rouge. I was born in Baton Rouge. Raised there for like 2 years. Both parents have MBAs from LSU. MBAs. They graduated from Mississippi State though, but they got the fancy degrees from LSU. The Tigers have been drinking 3 hours ago, 6:30 a.m. their time. They're not going to stop drinking until midnight tonight when they storm that field and beat Ole Miss. Garrett Nussmeier has not been an elite quarterback. He hasn't been a Heisman favorite, not even a candidate for that matter. But Brian Kelly is not losing this. I was at the LSU Ole Miss game last year. There was over 100 combined points, I think, scored. I think the halftime spread was like 90-something and a half, and it hit. Like, it hit over. The Ole Miss fans rushed. They threw their beer cans at the LSU players. If I'm LSU, I'm remembering that game from last year. I hated that game last year. I'm remembering that. I'm taking that personally. I mean, it's personal.
You're going to murder someone, apparently.
Some LSU fan is going to murder one of those little Ole Miss kids in their suit and their pledge for whatever the John they are. They're going to die tonight. The Tigers get a big win. Go Tigers. Go Tigers.
We're not getting any sponsors anytime soon. Jeez
I
Louise.
wish you will sponsor me for that comment.
On that note, I'm going to go with LSU as well. Death Valley is a tough place to play, and then Death Valley at night is an even tougher place to play. That's why I'm going to go with LSU. Ole Miss is stat padded the entire year. They have not played a good team, and even when they played a halfway decent team, they struggled. So, go Tigers.
Golly, you hit the nail on the coffin. I'm glad someone has woken up and realized Ole Miss has played, I mean, my high school essentially. Just terrible teams. Another big rivalry. G-Russ, hit us
Red
with the
River.
Red River.
Showdown.
I'm going to go Texas here. I think first half will be close because Quinn Ewers hasn't played the past couple of weeks. He is starting today. But I do think that Texas does win this game easily. Oklahoma is starting their backup. I can't think of his name. He's more of a scrambler, though. He's not good. I don't think he's Hawkins, yeah. I think that overall, though, scrambling quarterbacks, they're not meant for high-scoring games necessarily. I just think Texas is too talented to lose this game, and because of that, I'll go with Texas to win the Red River Shootout.
I don't know. I think after last week, I think the Vandy scrambling quarterback hang a 50 ball on Bama. I like the scrambling quarterback in her scoring games. I think that Oklahoma is going to get blown out by like 70, but I do like a scrambling quarterback. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the Texas offense. Texas is absolutely legit, and They should walk in there and win that game by 30 at least.
This is a true neutral site game. One of the few in college football. I mean, literally split down the 50, red and white, burnt orange and white, either side. You got the Texas State Fair out there. I mean, this is what you think of America, and this is what I think of college football, bunch of fried food, just Americans coming together to enjoy themselves. Yeah, also same spread as Tennessee, Florida, 14.5 for Texas. Texas is legit. They're scary. They're kind of running through the SEC. Seeing them firsthand in person, nice fans, but that team, I might have wet my pants a little. I mean, they're scary. Colin Simmons, the defensive end, is a true freshman, and I think he had 2 sacks against Mississippi State. He is a scary dude. I like what Grant said. They'll probably come out slow. Oklahoma has a decent defense. I think they're in the top half of the SEC in defense, but their offense is not great. They had to sit Jackson Arnold, who they kicked what's his name out to Oregon, fed him to the dogs for this Jackson Arnold kid, and Arnold didn't pan out. Their offense will not be able to keep up with Texas. Texas has loads more depth. Sark is not going to lose this game back-to-back years, especially when he's are they number 1 in the country right now? Yeah.
Yes.
He's not going to do that 2 years in a row because they were number 1 last year going into this game. Or they were top 3. Doesn't matter. Sark has learned from his mistakes. He no longer has a wife, so the only thing he's focused on is football. And there's no way he doesn't win this. The real UT is winning this, Hunter. The real UT is winning this, baby. They are winning this.
Jeez Louise. James, after your performance today, we might have to review your status here at the company.
Contract.
Wishing death. Students of other schools.
I was just proclaiming death. I'm like the all-seeing eye. I'm seeing it ahead of time.
Okay, all right.
We're digging a hole. It's getting worse.
I think that the eyes of Texas are going to be shut today because the Oklahoma Sooners are going to get a big win in the Red River rivalry. Here's why. Oklahoma's defense is a lot better than I think Texas is. Texas hasn't had a real challenge to date. Mississippi State is not any good. Let's be honest here. Okay, that's a stat padding game. Let's be real. Oklahoma plays tough. They play tough ball, and in this game, you never know what could happen. It's an honest who's going to show up, who's going to play. Oklahoma shows up today. Texas thinking they're just going to waltz in here with the number 1 overall ranking. This is SEC ball now. Oklahoma gets the win. I think Oklahoma will be the much better SEC team at the end of like a 20-year period than Texas. Oklahoma by 50. Go Sooners, Boomer, Sooner.
Who is Oklahoma played? They lost to Tennessee by 10 at home.
And we lost to Arkansas, so I don't care.
Arkansas.
Boomer, Sooner. Let's go to our game of the week.
I'm going to get myself fired at this.
James, just be happy you got a free game up on him.
Game of the week, Ohio State versus Oregon. Big Ten matchup right here. Number 2 in the country versus number 3 in the country. G. Russ.
I'm going to go with Oregon here. I'm still am hesitant to pick Ohio State's quarterback. Can't think of his name all of a sudden. Someone help me out.
McCord
Devin
left.
Brown.
Will Howard.
It's not Devin Brown. Will Howard, thank you. I know it's not Devin Brown, Hunter. I'm still hesitant on him. I think Dylan Gabriel, he has beat Texas, and I think that actually says something a lot, Hunter. It's your boy. I think that overall, since it is at Oregon, I will go with them. I'm hesitant with Will Howard still. I'm still not transferred from Kansas State. He looked good, but I don't think. Ohio State hasn't played anybody, so it'll be interesting to see this game because it's at home. I will go with Oregon. I get Ohio State most talented roster by far in the country, but because of home field advantage and Dylan Gabriel has been in a bigger spot in his career than Will Howard, I will go with Oregon.
I think Oregon's a pretty overrated football team. I don't think they're as good as their ranking. I don't think they're as good as their record. And Ohio State is one of the most talented rosters in the country. I think Jeremiah Smith has a really big game, and I just don't think Oregon's going to be able to stop Ohio State's offense. Give me the Buckeyes.
I'm gonna agree with you here, but I do have to say neither of these teams have played anyone. Ohio State has played Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Michigan State, and Iowa, and Oregon has played Idaho, Boise State, Oregon State, UCLA, Michigan State. So the best team out of the teams I just said was Boise State, not a doubt in my mind. And let's be honest, Oregon struggled against them. They only won by 3 at home. I'm not seeing home field advantage, and we all know Boise State was leaning on the run game. Well, that's something that Ohio State will excel at. They have Quinshon Judkins plus that other kid, but so they can control the game clock, and then obviously if they need to, they can just chuck it to Jeremiah Smith, just like Chube said. But I think the deciding factor is the trenches. Ohio State will have bigger guys there. Ohio State has the better defense. Ryan Day, this is his year. I mean, this is make or break. He's lost to Michigan the past few years. He hasn't been the dominant team in the Big Ten, and that's what Ohio State fans want. They're not going to let some new guy come in and take over the Big Ten. This is going to be a defining moment for the Big Ten Conference as a whole. Do you let a new guy from the Pac-12 come and run your conference, or do you hold your own and you defend your conference, you defend your name? This is what it comes down to for Ryan Day. And I think Ohio State just has more talent all around, more depth, and better defense. I mean, that's what's going to win them the game.
I'm going to go with the Buckeyes of Ohio State. I think that Oregon, Dillon Gabriel, while he is a Heisman favorite, not anymore, he has fallen off. I don't think that Oregon is the same team. I think that they're going to play Ohio State tough because it is at Autzen Stadium. But Ohio State, I think, gets the big win here. I think that they clean house with them. Go Buckeyes.
I think Ohio State has a gauntlet coming up. I mean, at Oregon, then at home against Nebraska, we've seen what Dylan Raiola is capable of. And then at Penn State, I mean, those 3 games back to back to back, that's going to be tough. They do get a bye week after this week though, to rest up before Nebraska, but we'll see how Ryan Day pans out after this year. Me personally, I would have fired him after he got beat by Harbaugh this past year, but we'll see. We'll see. Good stuff this week, though. Sorry about the technical difficulties. That one's on me. Good picks. I'll try not to get fired next week. And hopefully we'll have a special guest as well.
Yep. Should have a special guest next week, I think, Reggie Russ.
Yeah, maybe. Possibly.
Okay.
Either next week or the week after.
All right, so should have one next week. Remember, Jesus loves you. We will be back next weekend. Hopefully the laptop's fixed. See you next week. Bye.
Go Tigers.
Boomer.